Hey there, it's me, Kathy. Today I made squash is prevalent in the farmers markets and at the stores right now. And the other day I bought a spaghetti squash and I decided to make shrimp scampi minus the pasta and use the spaghetti squash instead. And then when I was done, I stuffed it back into the shells, the squash shells that I emptied, and topped it with a little Parmesan cheese, ran it under the broiler for a little bit, browned it up, and it came out really good, creamy, lemony, not creamy, no cream, but it had a creamy texture, and lemony, garlicky, and I put some tomatoes and some fresh basil from my garden in as well. And if you decide to make it, all you keto folks out there or low carbers will be very happy with this recipe because it's delicious and it's keto friendly. And the video is here, and enjoy. Oh, I put the recipe on the website, so you can look it up. Have a good day. We're going to start with some spaghetti squash. And I couldn't cut it, so we're going to cook it whole. I'm going to wrap it up in foil, put it in the oven, about 350. It's going to take this one took 2 hours to cook. And when you can insert a knife in it and pull it out easily, then it's done. So we're going to cut off the ends and cut it in half the long way. And scrape out the seeds with a spoon. And when the seeds are removed, we're going to get a fork and start shredding the pulp with a fork until it looks like spaghetti. It should pull away from the sides very easily. And there you have it. Looks like spaghetti. And we're going to save the shells. So wrap those up and set them aside in the refrigerator, or just leave them out depending on how quickly you're going to make your dish. And in our scampi is going to go a couple of tomatoes, some fresh garlic, some fresh basil, and half a lemon. We're going to dice our tomatoes and chop the basil. And we're going to be using some chicken stock in this recipe, so we're going to make some chicken stock, or you can use chicken broth out of a can or carton. So into a skillet, we're going to put some butter and some olive oil. And heat that up over medium heat until it's melted and foamy. And at this time, we're going to add our chopped garlic and stir it until it's fragrant, about 5 minutes. While we're stirring it, we're going to season it with some salt and some pepper and a pinch or two of crushed red pepper flake. Talk much? Anyway, as much red pepper as you want. I don't like a whole lot, but if you like it a little spicy, then go for it. And at this time, we're going to put in our diced tomatoes and stir. And now it's time for our chicken stock. We're going to increase the heat to medium-high and pour in about 3/4 cup of chicken stock, and we're going to cook that until the stock is reduced by half. And we have some shrimp, cleaned, deveined. I'd like to take the tails off. And at this point, we're going to add that to the pan with the reduced stock and the garlic and the tomato seasonings. And we're going to cook it until it's curled and pink. Cook it on one side, flip it over, cook it on the other. And it's done. And now we're going to add in our spaghetti squash. And we're going to mix that around until the ingredients and the sauce are well incorporated. And we're going to also add the juice of half a lemon. Squeeze it upright so you don't get seeds in your food. And we're going to stir that around to blend it well. And now it's time for our basil. Pop that in. And mix it around. And now we're going to take those saved squash shells and put them in a baking dish and fill them up with our spaghetti squash shrimp scampi. I try to keep the shrimp sort of underneath so it doesn't cook anymore when you put it in the oven. And we have some shredded Parmesan cheese. We're going to sprinkle that on top and pop that under the broiler. About 7 minutes. You got to keep an eye on it, but you don't want it to burn. Lightly browned, just like that. And I wonder, are you getting hungry? Let's eat it. Put it on a plate, garnish it if you want, and enjoy it thoroughly because it is yummy.